Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lovella's Coloring. How are you guys doing? So I was tagged to do the Would You Rather tag that was created by Kirsty Colour and Sketch. I was tagged by both Debie, whose channel is ColourMeStressFree, and Nikki of Nikki in Niagara. And I apologize that I'm just doing this video now. In the beginning of the month, I had several videos that I wanted to make sure went out before I did any of the tag videos. Plus, it gave me enough time to make sure of my answers for the list of questions, which I will have listed down below in the video descriptions. So there are 22 questions plus a bonus one, and we will go ahead and get started. But first, let me go ahead and tell you about the image that you're seeing right over here. This is an illustration from Eerie Patisserie. This is a Klara Markova illustrated book. I believe this is her most recent one, and you may have seen this book and the page as one I picked out for the Halloween Color It tag that I did earlier. So yesterday was my son's 12th birthday, and I was inspired to just go in and color this page last night. So after we were done celebrating, I picked out a color combination from this book called Practical Color Combination by Naomi Kuno, and it is the psychedelic bold colors. Really like it. And right now the candies are like a lighter shade, pastel colors, but I will be shading it in like I am doing with the skulls. So I'm just continuing it from last night, and we will go ahead and start with the first question, which is, would you rather color in the same coloring book or use the same medium for the rest of your life? So for me, I would rather use the same medium for the rest of my life, because I started out coloring just using pencils, and also I like having a variety of coloring books to color in. It's no hardship for me to just use pencils, especially like I said, I started out with them, and then from my coloring journey is starting out with colored pencils, and then the watercolor mediums, and then from there alcohol markers to glitter embellishments and every other thing like glitter gels. Yeah, it's just like just learning from other crafts and adding it to my coloring. But my coloring is mostly with pencils, so I would have no hardship just using pencils for the rest of my life. So number 2 is, would you rather color a page full of leaves or color a wallpaper style page? So I don't remember if I colored a wallpaper style page, but I did color a page that had wallpaper patterns, and I don't know, I didn't have a problem with it or with coloring leaves. So this one is hard. I don't know. I guess I would just say wallpaper style, because there's different kinds of patterns for wallpapers, so I would pick that one. So number 3 is, would you rather color fur or skin? I've colored both, and I have no problem coloring both. I'm still learning and improving with it, but I gravitate toward coloring skin more than coloring fur. But if the page, has fur, I would color it. But for this tag, I would just say skin. So number 4 is, would you rather color a double page spread in Kerby Rosanes book or in a Klara Markova book? I have colored double page spreads. I have, I think, three double page spreads in Kerby Rosanes' book, and though I've colored in Klara Markova's book, I haven't done a double page spread. So I would say Klara Markova because I haven't done it yet, and I would like to do one because her book is just stunning. So that is my answer for number 4. Number 5 is, would you color grayscale or line art? I started off coloring with line art, so I would say line art. Not that I wouldn't color grayscale. Well, actually, it would depend on the kind of grayscale, because if it's a grayscale that was a photo and it was changed to grayscale for you to color, I don't like those, because I like the Jade Summer ones where you have an actual line art first and then the grayscale part is added in. It makes it for me a lot easier to color, but I mostly gravitate towards line arts. So number 6 is to color a page by Mystic Art Mirrors or Christine Karron. So for me, because I have colored a couple of Christine Karron's illustrations already, I would say Mystic Art Mirrors. I have both. I have books from both of these wonderful illustrators, and I haven't colored in Mystic Arts Mirrors books yet, so I would pick her because, you know, I really want to color in her books. I would love to color her illustrations. It's just I haven't had the time at the moment. Right now it's just a whole bunch of Halloween themed illustrations, but hopefully I can get a coloring done from her books before the year's out. So number 7 is, would you rather color in silence or with background noise? For me, it would be background noise, only because I'm always surrounded by noise. I live with a I live in a multi-generation house, so it's always noisy here from early in the morning till late at night. And yeah, so I also love to color while listening to a YouTube video or watching a movie or TV series on Netflix or Hulu. And I love listening to music, not only while coloring. I listen to music to help me clean. And yeah, so I would say background noise. So number 8 is, would you rather color with a mix of mediums and brands or stick to one medium and brand? I wouldn't try to just stick with one medium and brand. I mean, hold on one moment. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, sorry, that was one of my kids. But what was I saying? So color with a mix of mediums and brands or stick to one medium. I think that if I was offered to do mixed mediums or just one medium, I would pick mixed medium, because why would I keep myself in just like that one when I can experience a whole bunch of different brands and mediums? Yeah, I don't want to just get stuck in that one corner. But that's for me. So yeah, so that is my answer for number 8. And number 9 is, would you rather use white gel pen or white Posca pen? So I have both kinds, but depending on the illustration and on what I use, will help me decide which one of those white kinds of pens to use, either the white gel or the white Posca. But I usually gravitate towards the white Posca. So I think it's because they're opaque when you use them, and yeah, I don't know, I just like him. So, and this one is the 1M, so it's the fine point Posca pen. So number 10 is, would you rather color in the morning or at night? So for me, I color when I can. With my kids, my schedule is always different, so I used to be able to color in the morning, but I usually just sit at my desk and color when I can, and then I do find myself coloring more in the evenings because that's the time when everyone's settling down. So yeah, I would just say evening or at night. Okay, number 11 is, would you rather color a page using a YouTube tutorial or use a tutorial from a book like Helen Elliston's Colorist Special Effects? So this one is kind of hard for me to answer because I would use whichever one is available for me to use. I try to learn as much as I can from the book and then find more information also through YouTube tutorials. But it's hard, especially if you don't have the book, so you would have only YouTube tutorial videos to use. So I would just say YouTube tutorial because it is easily accessible for everyone. You don't have to have the books, but I love having the book to use. So if I have it, I will use it. And yeah, I don't know if I answered the question. I'm going to say YouTube tutorial only because it's so easily accessible. But for myself, I try to use anything at my disposal to help me with coloring. And so number 12 is, would you rather color food or glass? And for me, I would say that I would rather color food. Glass is kind of hard for me to color. I don't think I've colored that much glass, so I would gravitate to coloring food. Okay, number 13 is, would you rather color in Jasmine Beckett Griffith books or Jade Summer books? So this is a weird comparison because, Jade Summer only has 4 coloring books, while Jade Summer has multiple coloring books of different things, chibi, anime, pets, fantasy, to patterns, and now colored by numbers. So it doesn't seem very even to compare them, but for me, I am going to pick Jasmine Beckett Griffith because I'm picking quality over quantity, where Jasmine Beckett Griffith, her coloring books have great paper to color on. I love her illustrations and all of them for all of the books. With the Jade Summer, it's like I picking which ones I like. I don't love all of them. With the Jasmine Beckett Griffith, I love all of it, all 4 of the books. So, yeah, I'm just gonna say that's my answer. So yeah, Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And number 14 is, would you rather color in a color by number book or a mandala book? So I have both now, and mandala still kind of throws me off a little bit still. I don't know why, but I do like the color by number. I love that you just have to choose your colors and just get on with the coloring, and there's no thinking. and just have fun with the color. And now that there is a color by number, or I picked up a book that is a color by number mandala, it makes coloring with, coloring mandalas fun. So yeah, color by number is my choice between the two. So we are at number 15, which is, would I rather use watercolors forever or use alcohol markers forever? So if I were to have to pick one of those to use amongst all my coloring books, I would have to say watercolors, because I have a lot of books that are also double-sided images, and I wouldn't want to have to choose which one I would want to sacrifice just so I can use the alcohol markers. And at least with the watercolors, I can be careful about the amount of water I use. And I know you can use gesso, but I'm just saying, like, if there's no gesso. And yeah, so I would pick watercolors forever. So that is number 15. We'll go with number 16, which is to color a Christmas page in June or a Easter page in December. And that one is pretty easy. I would rather color a Christmas page in June, because in December I would just want to color Christmas pages in December. It's the season. I'm going to be in the mood to just color Christmas stuff. In the summer, well, before summer in June, I think that happiness that we're getting closer to Christmas, that's what makes it fun to do Christmas pages in June. So yeah, that's my answer. So number 17 is to color on CreateSpace paper or on tone tan paper. So I'm thinking, I don't have that much CreateSpace paper books, but maybe Amazon colored books like this one I am coloring on. So I have no problem coloring on tone tan or on Amazon printed books anymore. I did before when I was just using pencils, because I always blended my colorings and it took forever and it would cramp up my hands using the colorless blender. But when I found using alcohol markers as a base or watercolors as a base, it really helped me out with coloring in Amazon papers, so it made it a lot more enjoyable. And with tan toned paper, I haven't colored on that, so I have no experience with using that. And so for now, I'm just going to say Amazon printed books, because I have basically found a way to make it enjoyable for me to color in. I do want to try coloring in tan toned paper. I'm sorry, I keep trying to say toned tan paper, but I haven't yet. So maybe since I haven't colored in a Mystic Arts mirrors, I should print out one of her illustrations on tan tone paper so I can practice with that. But hopefully I can get to one of her illustrations maybe next month. So let me see, we are at number 18, which is, would you rather color with Prismacolor Premier colored pencils or Arteza colored pencils? For me, it's right away Prismacolor Premier colored pencils, because that's what I started with. That's what I am the most experienced with coloring on all kinds of paper, all kinds of books. And I know how to manipulate it to create what I am envisioning. So and you can use it, you can use it. I mean, I can use Prismacolor on Amazon printed paper, on Create Space paper, it's just going to hurt my hands a lot. So I prefer not to use it on this one. But, you know, if I do a base, I easily can use a Prismacolor on top of that. But with Arteza pencil, it's the same. I can use it on Amazon paper, especially if I use a base on it. But I find that I don't like using Arteza on other coloring books, the smoother ones. It's hard to lay down pigment for me. So yeah, so my answer for number 18 is I would rather color with Prismacolor Premier Colored pencils. So number 19 is a hard question for me to answer, or a long answer for me. It's, would I rather color the background first or the main image first? So for me, like this image, right, or this illustration here, I did do the background first. I just used black alcohol markers, but the main image to me is her, so her skin is always going to be the last one that I color. So if there is a portrait of like a person in the illustration, they are the last thing that I would color, only because through my experience, every time I color the main image first, I tend to mess up their skin, especially, you know, like if there are like bits of pieces of pigment that accidentally smears. I always end up messing up the skin. So if I leave it blank for now, if I were to accidentally write over it, I can erase it easily with an eraser. And so I always save that for last. I save that, you know, the best for last. But if it was like an image that's just like this, where it's, I think this is like a candy with a ribbon, I would color that first and then color the background last. But, you know, it also depends on how I feel. But yeah, so that, for that question, it's hard. Yeah, it always depends on the illustration, whether I color the background first or the main image first. So number 20 is if I would use Neocolor 2 or Derwent Inktense. And so for me, I would say I would like to use the Neocolor 2 rather than the Inktense, only because they're a lot easier to use for me compared to the Derwent Inktense. The Derwent Inktense are fun to use, but, you know, like I can use the Neocolor for a whole page and it won't take me as long as it would with a Derwent Inktense where it's a pencil. So it takes a lot longer to lay down the colors. Plus, you know, with Derwent Inktense, it is permanent once you activate it. So yeah, so I gravitate towards the Neocolor 2s. So the 22nd question, the last question, 21st question is, would you rather rip a page out of a book that has gone wrong or persevere and rescue the page? For me, I would persevere and rescue the page. There's some pages where I just can't do anything about it and just leave it. And yeah, I just leave it because it helps me, it reminds me not to do whatever I did to that page, not to mess up on the page. Like for instance, if you've seen my finished coloring of the lines, dots, and spirals, where it's kind of a negative image because I colored on the wrong line, I didn't rip it out. I had the urge to, but I didn't. I left it there because it made me smile. It was funny, and it's also a reminder to be careful. Don't just start right away. And another example would be when I was coloring on a Amazon printed book. I was coloring skin, just using pencils, no base or anything like that. This was back in 2017. And I kept messing up with the skin. I erased it, started over, and by the second time it just wasn't working out. So I was lucky that in that book, it's the Astro Inklings by Tanya Bond, there was a second copy. That book came with 2 copies per image, so I was lucky to have that second one, and on that second page I was able to color the skin the way I wanted to, which was a darker skin, so I was still learning how to color darker skin tones. And yeah, but I didn't tear it out and throw it away or anything like that. I left it in the book to remind me, like, I guess it reminds me to just copy the page if I have a fear of ruining the page, especially if it's the only image that I have, to just copy it and work on it that way. So yeah, so I would not tear it out. I would just persevere and continue on. So number 22 is, would I rather color in a hardback book or a softback book? For me, I would gravitate towards the hardback book, only because, a lot of the hardback books come with really great paper. Some of them are one-sided, and a majority of them you can use watercolors or water-based mediums. And because they're hardback books, they're easy to travel with. You don't have to worry about your pages being bent. Yeah, for me, they're just easy. I mean, with the softback, they will get bent and creased easily, especially if they're just put in your bag, unless you put it like in a folder or something, or binder. But I wouldn't want to carry a whole big binder. I'd rather just carry the book. So yeah, hardback book would be my answer for that one. That is the last question. So there is a bonus question, and it is, who is your favorite artist? So this one is hard because I don't really have a favorite artist. I love all of my coloring books. I love all of the illustrators, the artists. I love that they share their work for us to color. So it's so hard. So I'm just going to say the illustrator whose artwork that I am coloring in is going to be my favorite for the moment. So right now it's going to be Klara Markova. So I'm just going to go with that. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed hearing what my choices were for this Would You Rather tag. And I have no idea who has already been tagged, but I will go ahead and ask and tag Amberly Silentia, Color Creatively, and Lisa's Coloring Corner. They are all wonderful colorists, and I hope that they are interested in doing this tag. For me, it's going to be enjoyable and interesting to hear their answers. I do believe that Kirsty opened this tag up for other channels, for other people to do if they are interested in doing it. I think all she asks is that you tag her and also drop a comment on her video for this tag so that she can check out your video. And yeah, so any channels I have mentioned in this video, they will be linked down below in the video description. And I want to go ahead and say thank you to both Debie and Nikki for the tag, and also thank you to Kirsty for creating it. And of course, I thank all of you for watching. Please take care, keep safe and healthy, and I'll see you all at my next video. Bye-bye.